What happened to Devin? With Devin Haney making his return to the ring on the big Times Square card, he's still one of the most hated fighters in boxing, with him recently getting booed at the press conference. So this is why everyone still hates Devin Haney.
For the majority of his career, it's fair to say that Devin Haney has been mainly criticized by a lot of boxing fans, and this criticism has gone way further now after his fight with Ryan Garcia, in which we saw him getting knocked down several times, hurt badly, and ended up losing the fight, only to find out Ryan Garcia tested positive for a banned substance, which led the fight being overturned and removing the first loss from Devin Haney's career. And in addition to that, he ended up suing Ryan Garcia for domestic violence after this whole debacle, and that lawsuit is still currently ongoing, and many think that pro boxers who sign up to be in there should not be suing the other fighter, and they believe it's kind of like an unspoken rule that that's just not something you do, but that has definitely added to a lot of the hate that Devin Haney has received.
Yeah, pretty much since the start of Devin Haney's career, he was getting a lot of flack, a lot of criticism, and he was always under a microscope as this next upcoming guy who was set to live up to the expectations that were put on him by especially his father, who was saying he's the next big thing in boxing, the next Mayweather, even better than Mayweather. But when he did get his first world title, people were calling him an email champ, calling him not the real world champion. Ends up, he becomes undisputed at the lightweight division. He beats George Kambosos, which many people don't think is the greatest opposition. But regardless, he unified the titles. He's a 2-division world champion. And like you said, with this Ryan Garcia fight, Ryan kind of made Devin the villain in that lead up. Even though all the antics were there with Ryan kind of losing his mind leading up to that fight. And a lot of people were just not a fan of the trash talk, which all led up to the fight where we know he got dropped a couple times. The fight got overturned, and now Devin Haney's talking like he's undefeated and now suing Ryan. So it's a whole mess of a situation. A lot of people just haven't really got behind Devin Haney, along with the fact his style isn't the most fan-friendly. In most of his fights, especially in the last 4 or 5 years, they've been decisions, if not all of his fights. He also had a very close fight with Vasily Lomachenko, which he got the unanimous decision win in, and a lot of people thought it could have went Loma's way. And just the antics, his father Bill definitely didn't help his case either.
Yeah, most definitely. It seems like actually a lot of the criticism and hate he gets is also from things outside of the ring itself. Like you're saying, his father, Bill Haney, is always going back and forth with fans and media members that are hating on his son, Devin Haney. And we recently saw with Todd Grisham, he confronted him in a normal interview. And of course, he's going to be protective over his son, but I think as well, a lot of people think it's to the point where it's kind of detrimental to Devin Haney's career. Of course, he does have his supporters and people that think he is a very talented fighter and one of the best of this generation. But I think coming off that Ryan Garcia loss, a lot of people are trying to use that as an opportunity to say he was never really that good and that Ryan kind of exposed him in a way, which I think is a little crazy to say, as Ryan Garcia is a great fighter and it's not like Devin Haney beat absolutely no one previous to that. But regardless, I think it's not just his father, as in a way you could say that he is cocky, and a lot of fighters are cocky, a lot of similar fighters, and that's kind of part of playing the villain in the boxing role. I think the mix with his cockiness and his underwhelming performances have really left a bit of a sour taste in people's mouth, including the lawsuit, which is just a double down. And it's not like he's the first fighter we've seen that doesn't have the most entertaining style. There's many others like that, but it's just definitely the mix of it all. And I think going into this next fight, people are still just not rooting for him at all, to be honest.
Yeah, and it's kind of bizarre to see, as Devin does have a lot of talent. He became an undisputed champion at lightweight for a reason. He has a decent resume. A lot of people want to clown on him as a fighter and his fighting style, but I don't think it's the fact that he doesn't really come to fight and he's overly defensive. It's just the fact that he doesn't really have as much pop as these guys like the Ryan Garcias, Gervonta Davises. He doesn't have as much power in his hands, but he's not overly defensive. He does walk a lot of his opponents down. Even against Ryan Garcia, he was coming forward. That's kind of what got him clipped and got him countered and got him put down, but it's not like he's just a completely defensive fighter. Like Shakur Stevenson, for example, has a way more defensive approach, really just does not want to get hit. But Devin comes to fight, just doesn't have that same pop. When you talk about this lawsuit, the whole situation with Ryan Garcia's drug test failing and all the questions surrounding it, was Ryan Garcia intentionally doping? Did he actually try to cheat? Did he knowingly have something in his system? At the end of the day, whether it was intentional, whether it wasn't, whether he knew or he didn't, he had PEDs, he had Ostarine in his system, which is just a no-go. And the fact that Devin Haney is now returning on the undercard of Ryan Garcia kind of tells you where he is, at least in the fans' perspective. A step down, a step below Ryan. He is fighting on this big Times Square card, so it's going to be interesting to see this build up, this lead up. We've already seen the trash talk between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney at the recent press conference. Like you said, Bill Haney was getting into it with Todd Grisham. Devin Haney was getting into it with Ryan Garcia. They even tried to confront Ryan a couple months ago at the Ring Magazine Awards, but Ryan didn't say anything because he's getting sued, and I guess anything he says can be used against him. It seems like Turki Al-Sheikh and those guys are kind of try to put all that to the side and are looking to make a rematch between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia for later this year if they both get past their opponents. So that would be a massive fight to book that rematch, and could definitely be a chance for Devin Haney to really save his reputation, to get the people back on his side if he's able to put on an entertaining performance, if he's able to beat Ryan Garcia. That would really put a statement out there, because in that first fight there were a lot of questions. Even though Devin Haney lost on paper at the beginning, at least before it was overturned, it's not like he didn't hang. He got up every time, he went the distance. Ryan Garcia was 3 pounds overweight, then he popped for Osterine in his system. So there's a lot of questions about that fight. That rematch has to settle it, and that's definitely a way Devin Haney could get his reputation back.
Yeah, for sure. Devin Haney's gonna have to let his fists do the talking in the ring and to try to win over people that way. And if you honestly look at it from a kind of outwards view, it is kind of wild that out of the two, Devin Haney is the one that received most of the hate for the whole Ryan Garcia popping for Osterine situation. But regardless, he's still a very talented fighter. He still has for sure a huge future for his career, and it's not like he's just going to be done from that one loss. I'm sure this fight against Jose Ramirez, the fact that it is not the top echelons of competition, is also a way for him to get some of his confidence back and for him to get refreshed in the ring and be ready for, of course, the Ryan Garcia rematch like you mentioned. So this is going to be his opportunity to show it.
Yeah, a lot of people also don't like that brash persona when his father is constantly overhyping him, talking about he's a bona fide killer. And then Devin Haney sometimes goes out there, jab, clinch, and doesn't put on the most exciting performances. There's just a lot of things that led to Devin Haney not being a fan favorite, but that doesn't mean you can't make a career out of not being the fan favorite. In fact, many fighters have done that and became a villain and went into that heel role and made that very profitable. Floyd Mayweather is a prime example of that in boxing. Towards the end of his career, he kind of had a pretty boring style to at least the mainstream audience, to hardcore boxing fans. They knew what they were watching. They knew this is the sweet science, but on the outside looking in, a lot of people weren't fans of the shoulder roll, defensive wizard that Floyd Mayweather was. But he just spoke his way into making millions and millions of pay-per-view buys, dollars for himself, his promotion, and everyone. So it's not like this can't work to Devin Haney's benefit. It definitely can, especially if he plays into it maybe a little bit more. He already has the brash persona, all the expensive jewelry, how he's flaunting his millions, how he's flaunting his money. That's the kind of stuff that will get people interested and get people to hating on him, especially with this lawsuit and everything else that just makes for him not to be the most liked fighter. This is what could really sell himself if that's what he does approach it. If he tries to be the good guy and he tries to be the savant in this situation, it's probably not going to end well, as people just won't get behind him. And so far, it seems like he really can't resonate to the audience. But he's talented. He has potential. You don't always need the people behind you. And Devin Haney is young and can definitely make things work out.
But let us know down below what you think about Devin Haney. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and check out the video Ryan Garcia versus Rolly Romero will not end well.